Okay, so last night we had Smallville Absolute Justice, the 2-hour Smallville. I really want to call it a movie because essentially it was just 2 episodes combined into one. You got some pieces of the Justice League, sorry, and Clark and his nameless group. Now, I'm a Green Lantern fan, in case you haven't figured out by now from the background, and it was great to see Alan Scott, who was the original Green Lantern, even though the most we saw was like him holding on the bars with that guy. And of course, in the case when they saw this guy and this guy, Alan Scott's Green Lantern battery. And it was decent seeing, a villain like Icicle, who you might think, oh, it's just Iceman. I don't know who existed first, but Icicle was probably been around since maybe the 50s. That's an old villain archetype right there. Hawkman was done pretty good. Hawkman normally comes off as... He does come off as kind of like the brute force prick in the comic books and in the cartoons as well. So he came off roughly on par, Dr. Fate, I saw the still shots, I was like, I don't like that outfit at all, I don't like the way it looks. He was done well, but he's so much more powerful in the comics. He wouldn't have been killed from behind by Icicle. Was it a good way to kind of go, here's a really powerful character, have him do his bits, and then kind of take him out, so someone else can grab the helm of fate? Yeah. But seeing him killed from behind by Icicle, Good to see John Jones and Mark Manning get his powers back, and for like a brief second see him in green. See him actually in his Martian form. The villain Icicle worked pretty well, like I said before. I like the fact they had Checkmate in it. Checkmate actually is a group I think it's a multinational group of superheroes designed to try to help take care of larger, like, global threats. But there's only lots of bureaucracy, so it tends not to do a whole lot. I also mentioned the Suicide Squad, which is great because, the Suicide Squad essentially was convicts who had their records expunged, and then they kind of just did a mission for the government, and then either they did another one, or they were killed. You really never let the Suicide Squad, hence the name Suicide Squad. I found it odd that Starman died that easily, but his sidekick was able to hold her own fairly decently against Icicle. Probably would have died too if it wouldn't have been Green Arrow. Green Arrow, I'm still... I like the character. It's just so hard to get used to. So what's your costume? It's glasses and a hood. To beat a domino mask? Yeah, but still. Nothing about that costume makes him look anything different than he does with Oliver Queen. It was great to show by looking like Ted Grant. I don't know a lot of the JSA, but every time they had a character, it was like, oh, there's Ted Grant. Oh, there's Al Pratt. I knew enough about the characters, and almost in every commercial I got to sit down with my wife and go, this character's this character's this, here's their quick background. She's like, is Justice Society bad guys? I was like, no. Justice Society is a group from, like, the 40s and 50s. Oh. What's the Justice League? That's the Silver Age group. It's like, oh, Silver Age, Golden Age dynamics, trying to break through all that. There's a lot to try to explain to someone who doesn't know that much about comics when it comes to explaining the JSA, the JLA, and the certain nuggets they threw in every now and then. All in all, I can say I was fairly impressed with the episode. Much better than Justice, where they had Aquaman, the Flash, Cyborg, and Clark try to, go against like a giant compound. Will it be interesting to see what they do in the future? Since they did mention Checkmate, they mentioned Apocalypse, which makes me think potentially a Darkseid storyline, which could be awesome or it could be pathetic. Darkseid's a giant guy with fire coming out of his eyes. Kind of hard to pull off. I haven't watched Smallville for a lot. I've seen the episodes where there was Doomsday, and it was done okay. It was done about the way you could do it for, a TV show on the CW without a huge budget. I was actually very impressed with what they did. With 2 hours, they explained a decent amount about the characters, a decent amount about Clark's proposed future, And there's a lot of unique story elements that could potentially branch out to be better, broader things. So, Absolute Justice. It's kind of like, as a Green Lantern fan, you've lived almost your whole life to see a guy in the Green Lantern ring. So that was actually like the first time there's actually been a live-action Green Lantern character. Yes, except for the failed Justice League pilot. Yes, I've seen that. It's pathetic. It does not exist. It's that bad. So it was the first ever Green Lantern we got to see on like a live-action TV. You know, I got a couple of still shots. And, Alan shot behind bars. All in all, very impressed. I might actually start watching Smallville now. So that it actually worked. It was done fairly well, better than Justice, and better than Legion. Legion had the Legion of Superheroes coming from the future and helping Clark battle Chloe, who was possessed by the Brainiac nanites. Yeah, that in and of itself is like its own long, convoluted video. So anyways, Absolute Justice, a very good job. My hats off to Smallville.